So which do you think is more designed to kill you? The ocean or the outback?
Damn. I'd probably have to say Outback. I feel like there's a lot more like poisonous shit that's just like waiting to kill you.
I think, yeah, because I think, well, there's probably more things that can kill you in the ocean,
right?
But it's so vast.
Yeah.
It's so much bigger. The outback is very contained, and everything that is there wants to kill you.
Right.
In the ocean, not everything that's in the ocean wants to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're a little more far and few between out in the ocean, I feel like. I feel like anything I bumped into in the outback, I'd be very scared of. Like, it's probably could kill me. Any size.
Shape.
Spiders.
Or
giant warthogs, you name it, yeah.
Giant warthog.
Like, kangaroos, I wouldn't want to hang out with a fucking kangaroo.
No, the kangaroos are like on the nicer end of the spectrum too, and they can still like kick your head off.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much that go wrong. Plus, like, I mean, obviously the ocean, you can drown in it and shit.
Yes.
But like just dehydration and like sun exposure and heat, like,
yeah,
it's all stacked up against you.
Yeah, there's
Second
nothing
you get
pleasant
out
about
there.
it.
No.
Like, you go to the beach for vacation.
Right.
I don't think you go to the outback for vacation.
Go get some sun.
Now,
hey,
far be it from me to judge. I'm sure there's a very minute group, certain mindset. But, I mean, you know, lest we forget, England used to ship the worst of their prisoners to Australia. That was
See?
Not an ideal place to live.
Yeah.
But apparently the people go on vacation there all the time, so
That's also true. It's a lovely place.
surrounded by ocean filled with sharks that want to kill you. So there's just
yeah, if you're comparing it to that specific ocean.
specific
you really
ocean.
just like sit right on the beach. That's your gray zone.
Yeah. That is probably your safest spot, actually, in Australia, is just right there between dry land and water. So as soon as something on dry land wants to get you, you run into water for a couple minutes, and then the sharks come, and then you run back out onto dry land, and hopefully, whatever insect, creature, crocodile,
Right.
thing.
God damn.
They got crocs.
So many.
And sharks. I think the only thing they don't have is bears.
I don't
I
know.
don't think they have bears in Australia. If they had like grizzly bears in Australia, I quit.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
Someone's just shipping grizzly bears into.
I'll make it.
They're gonna survive. Destroy the whole ecosystem. Speaking of destroying ecosystems,
That's right. Cheers, pal.
welcome back to the Jony Jawscast.
To the piggies.
Woo! Smooth.
So smooth.
Not too bad at all, huh?
I burnt my tongue this morning on coffee. That's just salt in the wound. Oh,
Celeste does that all the time. I'm like, you are a child. How can you, after all these years of drinking coffee, she drinks coffee every morning, and at least like once a month, she burns her tongue on her coffee. And I'm like, what is the definition of insanity?
I put an ice cube in it, and then I went and jumped into a meeting, and I was like, oh, it's probably fine. And while I was talking, I'm like, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee, and just roasted it, and just talked through through it. Yeah.
Oh!
Like, ow. Yeah. You know, such is life. That's what tequila's for.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Jony Jawscast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Jony Horror. Not Jony Jaws, though that sounds quite nice, actually. Yeah, Jony Horror, and today we are talking about the 1984 creature feature, Razorback. I am, of course, joined by my co-host, my partner in crime, my first mate on this voyage into uncharted, shark-infested waters and warthog-infested waters on this trek.
Could have gone a lot of directions. I'll take first mate.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta go down with the ship. You can abandon the ship at any time. Most don't. A lot of times, if you've seen Titanic, the captain's like, all right, you go, and then the first mate's like, no, sir, I'm staying with you.
That's stupid.
I figured what your answer would be. Brian Calvert, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds like a lot of responsibility. He hasn't quite earned it. Maybe the next ship.
Yeah. You never know. It's not like this ship's looking. I'm pretty sure we've been slowly sinking, not unlike the orca at the end of Jaws. We're just barely keeping afloat.
Like a good 25 degree, I think.
I think we're about at the point before the shark jumps on to the boat.
Yeah,
so we still
exactly.
There's still hope for us. Not really. We know how it's gonna end, but Brian, we're talking about Razorback. Razorback is a form of mutated pig.
Yeah.
Warthog, a boar.
Yeah, boar.
I'm sure they're all varying degrees of similar species, but we'll just go with warthog. What is your favorite warthog in a movie? I can think of two.
Including this one?
Yes.
I really wish they had they had named this one. That would have been awesome. Yeah, I can.
We'll call him Bick because he's like Bick, like the razor, like.
Don't know what you're talking about at first.
I got you now. Come on, that's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're thinking of the same two pigs.
Yeah. Well, there's really only two, Brian.
There's got to be more. But
yeah. I'm sure there is. There's that other Australian.
Oh, I can think of one.
Okay, go ahead.
Babe.
Babe is not a warthog. Babe's a pig.
Pigs. I said pigs.
You said pigs. I said warthogs.
Oh. Pigs open up a broader spectrum.
Well, then if we're going to talk about Babe, we got to talk about its counterpart. Came out within the same year, 6 months. Gordy. Did you ever see Gordy?
Gordy? Who the fuck is Gordy?
You haven't seen Gordy?
Is that No,
it's another talking pig movie. It came out within 6 months of Babe coming out. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Gordy?
Why do you keep on
Who names a pig Gordy? I mean, I kind of like it, but
who names a pig Babe?
Babe the pig. I don't know. Babe.
That's a great name for a pig. Better than
Gordy.
They're both pretty good, but Babe's better.
Pig is a good name for a pig.
Better than Wilbur. You remember Wilbur?
Wilbur. That's from Charlotte's Web, right?
It sure is.
I couldn't think of the name. That's right.
So now we're just doing pigs? What's the best pig?
Gordy? That blows my mind. I've never heard of this.
Okay, hold on. We're pulling it up right now, folks. This is a little bit of a detour that I honestly did not expect to take.
What's the name of that movie with Lindsay Lohan where she has a talking car?
That is Herbie.
Herbie, that's what I was thinking of. As soon as you said Gordy, I was like, it's a car, but...
Oh, yeah, there it is. 1994. Gordy.
They really just, lack of better terms, piggybacked some Babe on that one. Oh, Gordy, Gordy. It's not even how I thought it was spelled. That was an I-E. Not that makes it any better. It has sunglasses on.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then,
give me some ratings. How did Gordy do?
Not well by the looks of it. Looks like out of 2,000 reviews, Gordy has a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
God damn. Well, I mean,
I think that's just
I'm surprised 2,000 people have watched it, but I have never heard of this. What's the synopsis of Gordy?
A talking pig named
Shocker.
Gordy becomes involved in a quest to save his family from the slaughterhouse. Jesus.
Oh my god!
Fairly dark right there. And then Babe came out in 1995, so Gordy came out first.
What?
Yeah.
My mind is blown in big cinematography right now. What? Gordy comes out.
And Babe, out of 129,000 reviews, has a 6.9 out of 10.
Jesus.
They
really took the Gordy and just knocked it out of the park. I mean, Gordy was trying to save him from a slaughterhouse.
I think Gordy ended up going to the slaughterhouse, folks.
God damn. I don't want to know how that movie ended.
Dude, I don't remember it at all, actually.
I've never heard of this movie in my entire life.
But I remember watching it quite a bit as a kid.
I remember watching Babe quite a lot. I've never heard of Gordy.
We've established that. I don't know how many more times.
I'm upset about this, and it came out before Babe.
Yeah, but you were like 2, so like, why are you so concerned?
I was 4.
You were
when
not.
did it come out? 95?
You were not 4. You were 4 when Babe came out. You were not 4 when Gordy came out.
When did Gordy come out?
Like July of like 94 or something like that.
Okay, so I was like 3.
Okay.
Or 2 and some change. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Alright, okay, yes. God damn. Well, it's not like I watched Babe when I was 4. I don't remember watching it when I was 4. I was watching it when I was like years later.
Okay.
As a wee lad.
Answer the question.
What?
Fuck!
I don't even remember the question. You went on
favorite pig in a movie.
Well, it's not Gordy. Fuck me. Well, there's the rampaging Razorback.
Bick.
There's Pumbaa, who I'm assuming you're talking about.
Just like,
since it wasn't Gordy to begin with, obviously, since I brought up pigs. Then there's their subspecies, clearly the less adequate, pigs, Gordy and Babe and Wilbur.
Is there any other pigs?
This is great pig names. That should be a movie. Gordy, Babe, and Wilbur.
There's the 3 little pigs in Shrek.
Oh yeah, I hate those pigs. And all of them.
Fuck those pigs.
They're like, oh, what is their accent? I can hear it in my head.
I say German? Is that what it is? I can't remember.
Yeah, they're like... They're like, fuck, what is it? Like Dutch or something,
yeah,
right? It's like a Dutch accent almost. And they all have it.
Have
you watched the last Shrek that's come out? I don't know when it came out, but...
Years ago.
It was a long time ago,
I've only seen 1 and 2.
We watched the last one, like, not even that long, like maybe a month or so ago. It's wildly entertaining. There are some scenes in that movie. Fucking pigs are in it again, obviously. But dude, you gotta watch it.
I'll watch the last Shrek movie the day you watch Gordy.
Done! I can go home tomorrow and watch it tomorrow morning. What are you talking about?
I wonder if it's on Disney+.
I didn't know about this slaughterhouse that he's saving his humans from. That the talking pig is saving.
I don't think it's...
I'm not entirely... I don't know if I'm comprehending that storyline entirely.
No, I don't think you are. But I don't think the rest of his family talks. I just think it's him that talks, which makes the whole premise even weirder.
Well, see, I have this already twisted. Is his I'm comparing it to Bade. Is his family humans, or is it his...
No,
it must be his pig family.
It's his pig family.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Having them working my way
Still dark.
through it.
A little less dark than what you had in mind. But,
yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. Favorite pig in a movie?
Pig or warthog?
Just fuck.
Pumbaa, Jesus, Pumbaa.
Pumbaa's the best.
Damn, yes, Pumbaa's the best. He's awesome.
You didn't even need to open it up to pigs. You could have just got rid of warthogs then, huh?
I was just curious where the parameters were.
I told you what they were.
This is a loaded question.
I told you what they were. I said warthog, and you said
then you're like, Gordy.
Pigs.
You ever heard of Gordy? The sensation of the early 90s in pig cinema? FYI, you open the floodgates for Babe, you're welcome. Gordy should have a damn star on Hollywood.
You're putting a lot of verbiage in my mouth hole, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well,
Pumbaa is my choice.
This being the Jony Jawscast and all, we're over here on Amity Island, and for the time being, we're gonna shelve the pig talk, and we're going to talk about some sharks. I think Chief Brody is getting a phone call at his house right now, so we're going to head over to Brody's house and see what the news is. So, today being, what is today? Today is Tuesday, May 9th. Yesterday being Monday, May 8th. Yes, I can do
you got it.
some math here. I was very afraid I was going to fuck that up, actually.
You're on it.
The Meg 2 trailer dropped yesterday,
Yes.
so we got to see the sequel to the long-awaited follow-up to the Meg.
I have been waiting a long time.
I know. I did not think we were going to get a sequel.
I didn't
really
either,
did not.
actually. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
You and Andrew sent it to me, which, sorry, Andrew, I need to text you back. But, man, like, mind-blowing. I'm very glad of reoccurring actors.
Yeah, let's just...
Actors,
we won't spend too much time on it, but Jason Statham is back.
Yeah, baby.
Cliff Curtis is back as Mac, which makes me very, very happy.
Yeah.
And what's his name is back as DJ.
Oh yeah.
Saw him briefly in there, and I think those are the only guys that are coming back. But you saw like the little girl, and I don't know if it is the same little girl from the movie. She's obviously older, but it kind of looked like her.
So how many years has it been since the first one came out?
First one came out in 2018.
Okay, so it's been
a minute,
almost 5 or 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But she was pretty little in that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know, how old does she look in this movie? I don't even remember seeing her in it in the trailer.
There was like
maybe been in her early teens.
One quick little glimpse of her. Let me see if I can hop over here.
If not, don't sweat it. But I mean, that would be awesome if she came back for it. That'd be cool.
What did you like from what you saw from this trailer?
All of it, everything about it. It looked great. It's everything I ever dreamt it would be. It was everything I thought the first one was going to be, but cranked up to like 16.
Well, I mean, cool your jets. We haven't seen the movie yet there, pal, so I feel like you're making some big old assumptions. Because the trailer for the first film did look like a lot of over-the-top, cheesy fun.
That is true.
And then maybe played it a little bit too
they really like
straight.
Acting-wise, like, some of the characters leading into it, and then story-wise, some of it... Yeah?
Same girl.
Damn, that's cool.
Same girl.
I like when they can make that happen.
But the mom's not in it. That much I know for sure.
Interesting.
So, little interesting. Paige Kennedy as DJ, returning as DJ. And then, yeah, it looks like it's a fresh face cast here, which is pretty cool. But yeah,
Sick.
I'm very excited to have Jason Statham and Cliff Curtis back because...
if Jason Statham wasn't going to come back, it would have tanked right out the gate.
Yeah, I think we both agreed on our last episode in which we covered the Meg.
Yep.
3-part series on the Meg. Please go listen to it. It's
gold.
Pure gold. You know? Worth its weight in gold, too, I'm sure.
See?
I don't know how much digital media weighs. Probably nothing. So
I don't know, would it be like bitcoins?
Bitcoinin. But, yeah, there's a couple of things that were like standouts to me. Obviously, there's a handful of sharks and they're hunting in packs now, which is exciting.
Gigantic.
The Meg eats a T-Rex.
Yep.
Which is really cool.
I did like the intro of the trailer. Like had very Jurassic Park vibes as a start. Waking its way through the food chain is cool.
Yeah, I like that a little bit too.
I like that shit.
I think it's really... I like those suits. You know, ordinarily I would think something like that's just
the super suits.
Yeah, really kind of like hokey and cheesy. And when I first saw them, I kind of rolled my eyes. But then I was like, you know what? This is a movie for that type of dumb stuff.
Exactly.
So I'm here for it. And that just looks like a really cool scene to have them all on the bottom of the ocean just kind of walking around. And then hopefully some of them get picked off.
All right.
But, you know, there's talk. It hasn't been confirmed yet, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be a rated R movie, but a lot of talk about it being... There's a lot of talk about it, them going a little bit harder with the violence.
Was the first one rated? PG-13?
PG-13.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, dude, like, no one dies in that movie.
Pretty low-key, yeah.
But, like, we see at least, I don't know, like, 3, maybe 4 different attacks of people being, like, absolutely annihilated in this trailer alone. Right out the gate. That's exciting. Yeah, it does just kind of look like the madness is cranked up to 11. So I'm really hopeful.
Great. I mean, that's... People go watch that shit all day long in the movie theaters. That's what it's all about. Especially for, like, our demographic, too, of age group. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you go?
Yeah.
Movie theaters serve beer and wine now. You can go, like,
get
a tall can and a large popcorn and go watch a pack of megalodons just tear through dinosaurs and people. Like,
watch Jason Statham
why
punch
not?
them all
and
in
Jason
the face.
Statham's in it, yeah. Like, come on. It's a no-brainer. I'm sure it'll do great.
The shark looks pretty good, too.
Yeah, from what I could tell.
There are definitely some very CGI moments happening in that, to the point where I'm like, I can practically see the green background, like, in some of these shots. They're so, like, matted on there. But you know what? If it doesn't pull its punches and just goes for broke and is dumb fun and doesn't try to be too serious, like, the other one never found that line for me. It was it couldn't make up its mind whether it was trying to be serious or funny at times.
A wider gray zone, it felt like.
Yeah.
Which, no, I get what you're saying.
So if they just make it like a dumb, fun, campy horror movie, like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, exactly. Balls to the walls, crazy, large shark movie.
Yeah.
Just get after it. Fingers crossed, though.
Yeah.
I'm game. I'm here for it.
One can only hope.
That's right.
There was another, believe it or not just killer shark movie, but megalodon movie that came out this past month. It's called Black Demon. It is film starring Josh Lucas, who you would know from what's the race one with Matt Damon and Christian Bale?
Fuck, this can drive me nuts.
Yeah, I don't.
Everyone listening to it is probably like, it's this.
Yeah, it bothers me.
It's like Wheel of Fortune right now, and I can't think of what the fuck it's called.
Why? Ford versus Ferrari.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he plays the slime ball in that.
Slime ball, not. Oh, the one who like works at the dealership, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
So
and this is another Megalodon movie.
Yeah, this is another Megalodon. It sounded interesting. Like it didn't get good ratings at all, but I like out of all the cheesy ass shark movies that come out on the regular, this one I watched the trailer for, and I wasn't like, oh yeah, I fucking hate it, because they kind of came up with a cool premise.
Okay. Something a little different.
Stranded on a crumbling oil rig in Baja, a family faces off against a vengeful megalodon shark.
Wow.
So,
the Black Demon.
Yeah, it looks like just the setup is I liked the setup because I've always really wanted to see like a good like aquatic horror movie take place on an oil rig.
Oh, it's like an oil spill situation.
Yeah, that
makes sense.
And from my understanding, there's some sort of supernatural element to it, so I'm assuming that like someone did like uses voodoo or something like that to conjure up the megalodon to attack the oil rig because it's destroying the
ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's
based on the Mexican legend. Yeah. All right. Interesting. Yeah, it's got
it does not
techie vibes going.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good rating, but I like if this comes out on Amazon, like even the effects don't look
bad. Looks cool.
It doesn't look terribly horrendous, so it might be worth checking out if it comes on Amazon Prime.
Absolutely.
I've definitely seen a bad shark movie or two in my day, and this one at least seems to have a somewhat original premise, and the effects for it certainly not being like a big budget movie. It doesn't.
I mean, it looks right up there with the second Meg so far. As
from
what I can see from the shark.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrible by any means. So,
it looks entertaining.
Yeah.
I like that idea though, like stuck on an oil rig. Yeah. That's a trip.
I've thought of a couple of different cool scenarios to have like something play out on an oil rig. It's just you don't see it often, and it is like if you're stuck there, you're stuck there. So.
Oh yeah, not only are you out in the middle of the ocean, but you're also super high up, like stuck on a platform. Yeah, it's kind of a trip. That's cool though. I'm into it.
Yeah,
I'd watch it.
Well, hey, you know what? This is the Jony Jawscast. So
it's like our job.
Only we got paid for it.
God damn.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on right now as far as shark movies. I haven't heard any specific shark news about any shark attacks or anything like that recently around these parts. We do live just off the coast, and we live we're really close to Catalina Island, where great whites have a nesting grounds or mating grounds, I believe.
Yeah.
So they are out and about, and we do on occasion have great white sightings and attacks around these parts, but so far nothing yet. But the summer is just getting started, so if you guys are out there surfing, be safe, because it is a wild, wet world that we live in. Speaking of which, we are on Amity Island, and now that we have just gotten the phone call at Chief Brody's house that there has been a shark attack, we got to make our way down to the Amity police station. So we're going to head right that way right now. So here at the Amity police station, we are going to be discussing just a brief summary of the film that we are talking about, which again is 1984's Razorback. It is an Australian creature feature film, and we're going to talk kind of about how we found out about this movie, how we discovered it, how we saw it, and such and such. So I'm going to hand it off to Brian, and Brian is going to tell us a little bit about the movie in a brief summary, and a segment that we are now titling Brian's Best Bad Breakdowns. Take it away, Bri.
Alright, in the 1984 Australian Outback creature feature Razorback, Pumbaa takes bath salts, makes his way down Fury Road, while a PETA agent dies. Her husband does acid in the desert to move on. Meanwhile, President Snow does his best to clear his name from the Hunger Games, and a pair of brothers open the Petco startup in a warehouse down under. Razorback.
That is absolutely a bad breakdown. But a breakdown nonetheless. Well said, sir. Yes. President Snow, is that Jake? Is that the hunter?
Yeah, that's Jake, baby.
All right, let's go through this breakdown bit by bit. So we're going to start off with Pumbaa taking bath salts.
Yeah, I feel
sounds a little bit like another movie we watched earlier this year, Cocaine Bear.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, pretty accurate, honestly. Damn, that was a good movie. I would watch that movie again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Warthog on a rampage.
Yeah, I mean, any scene you see of this thing, even when it's docile, it's just this, like, yoked out, coked out Pumbaa. Even the silhouette shots, it's just, like, tusks everywhere, like, just, like, breathing and just, like, tousled hair everywhere. Like, it's just, like,
I'm having a bad day!
Strung the fuck out. And then scenes where it's not a silhouette, it's even more cranked up. Like, you just get these close-ups of, like,
eyeballs.
Maybe it's either only its eye in frame, just all, like, fucking Jurassic Park, flashlight in the eye shit, or it's just its snout, and it's just like, just fucking, and the camera guy is just fucking having a heyday.
The camera guy took some bath salts too.
Yeah, 100%. Then he makes his way down Fury Road, which I felt is...
obligated, right? You know, we got a Australian Outback picture. We gotta mention one of the greats, you know, so...
Between the bar and, like, what the truck that the brothers drive and shit.
Dude, are you kidding me? It's full Mad Max.
The war rig. Cruising down the dirt road to Pet Pack.
I was just like, you're waiting for fucking Mel Gibson to pop out at any point.
Yeah.
Be like, I need some gasoline.
Exactly. Someone to just spray themselves in fucking... spray paint for Valhalla or whatever the fuck they're yelling about. I can't remember.
Say, I would love to see Mel Gibson take on Benny and Dicko. Just see how long they last against Mad Max.
They look like they're straight out of the damn movie.
They do. They 100% look like they could be in Road Warrior.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. No questions asked.
Right? A PETA agent dies while her husband does acid in the desert to move on.
So, yeah, we have at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to the character Beth Winters, who is a news reporter, and she goes to Australia to do a segment on kangaroos being slaughtered.
Yep.
And while she's doing investigating, she gets attacked by the Baker brothers, and then subsequently is murdered by Pumbaa or Bick, rather.
Right, Bick. Excuse.
Bath salts.
Yep.
Bath salt Bick. And then her husband comes out to Australia to kind of figure out what happened, and he also encounters the Baker brothers, who leave him for dead.
Small world.
And he, slowly but surely starts to lose his mind out in the fucking Outback, so...
Yep.
As one does.
And
when you
man, those scenes, dude.
We'll get there.
Fair. Meanwhile, President Snow does his best to clear his name from the Hunger Games.
Yeah, so, in the beginning of the film, we meet the character Jake Cullen, who is a hunter. And I don't know if he was a hunter before, or they
don't really touch on that, do they?
Bit where the giant warthog absolutely destroys his grandbaby, and then he is blamed for the death of said baby within the first minute and 20 seconds of the film. Babies are being murdered.
Oh, Lord.
And then, then he spends the rest of the movie trying to find and kill said Razorback.
Yep. A pair of brothers open the Petco startup in a warehouse down under.
And those are the aforementioned Baker brothers, who are a couple of slimy creeps and
so slimy.
Just are not 100% responsible for all of the terrible things that happen in the film, because there's definitely the Razorback to blame for a lot of it, but like you said, had they not been killing all the kangaroos, the ecosystem wouldn't have been fucked up, so the Razorback wouldn't have had to find food elsewhere.
Yeah, that was like, and in that little synopsis I was like reading over, they touched on that, and I was like, oh, interesting. In a comparison to Jaws, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like, comparing killings to capitalism and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and the ecosystem, yeah.
People who are a lot smarter than Brian and I.
Like, quite a read.
That write and read and do research for a living, and they're very good at it.
Yep.
And he and I just say things like Pumbaa and bath salts.
Gordy.
But so we can essentially say that Baker Brothers and Pet Pack are really responsible for most of all the terrible things that happen in this film. So
yeah, checks out.
Fuck them guys. That's all I gotta say. Brian, how did you find out about Razorback? Where did you first hear about it? How did you discover it?
This asshole I used to work with tipped me off to it. Said it was a good creature feature, and then went to shave his head or chest or something. But
it's odd that like you would take film recommendations from an asshole. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I shaved my head so long ago. Long before I ever even saw this movie. So, you just get your timeline right. That's what I'm saying. A guy that you used to work with. Got it, right. I found out about this flick on the great In Search of Darkness documentary that documents damn near every film worth knowing about in the 1980s. That was a horror film, and this one came up, and as we'll no doubt talk about later, it was pitched as Jaws on Trotters, which is obviously why we are covering it on this podcast. But that caught my attention because I love any good creature feature, and any creature feature that is essentially ripping off Jaws is always worth checking out. And then you have a giant warthog in the outback murdering people. Like, that's just a good pitch for me. And the fact that they said
I love it
on the documentary that it has no business being as good as it is, and looking as good as it does for the money that they had to work with and everything.
True.
And I remember seeing some of the clips from it going like, this movie just looks beautiful.
Right?
So, that's how I found about it, and I watched it, and it was like, this movie is great. I think I watched it in a couple of different sittings. But it definitely spoke to me, and then I showed it to you a couple of months back for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was one of the rare occasions that we were hanging out and we didn't do a podcast.
That's right.
We
just watched Razorback.
Yeah, we just watched it, and
right.
So it was one that it was like, oh, we gotta get back to that.
Mm-hmm. Real quick on that documentary, is it? So they just touch on movies that you should watch, because I saw you had like a checklist with it, right? Mm-hmm. So they just like recap all of them, and then the checklist is for you to go watch it.
They kind of give you like a rundown of kind of more or less what the movie is about.
Okay.
And then a couple of different people will come on and talk about how they felt about it when they saw it and what they liked about it and stuff like that. They usually spend anywhere between, I don't know, say like 3 to 5 minutes on a segment.
That's cool.
And it's like per year. And they talk about like, I don't know, 5 or 6 movies per year sort of a deal.
Okay.
First 2 documentaries are each like 4 to 4.5 hours long, and the third one is 5.5 hours long. It is.
I was telling my buddy Andrew about it, and I was like, yeah, I think like they have like these checklists that they've been going through and like movies they've watched, and he was like, is it a documentary or is it like a checklist? And I was like, I think it's both. I don't really know. I'm like, I gotta talk to him about it.
The checklist was something that like you could print out if you wanted to go, oh, I've seen this movie, I've seen this movie, I've seen this movie.
That's cool though.
Yeah, and they do.
I know you guys have been knocking them down.
Yeah, they do it by each, because there's 3 different documentaries, as I said. Right. They do it by each documentary. Cool. So we have 3 different pieces of paper. And the first one, they do a lot of the heavy hitters for the 80s. Right. They cover a lot of them. So the first sheet, we pretty much have that whole thing knocked out, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3. And then just kind of the other 2 documentaries just get more and more obscure films. So by the time we get to the third sheet, we're just, haven't seen that one. Yeah. Don't even know where to find that one.
Right. So. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, man, I wonder if it there's no way it includes all of them. It'd be hours and hours and hours long.
Yeah, I mean, they are hours and hours long. And they certainly don't include everything, but they include
That's cool.
So much. And even if they don't talk about a specific film, odds are that it gets mentioned in passing at some point or another. So I'll have to throw it on for you just so you can get like a little taste of it.
Yeah, I'm curious. It sounds rad.
It's fun.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think Razorback popped up on the second documentary.
Okay.
Part 2. And yeah, man, it is one of the ones kind of... I think Alligator was on that one too, and Alligator is a film that we will eventually cover.
I can't wait.
Because that is another Jaws-inspired...
I just can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah, I know. That is like... Out of all the films that we've watched in the last couple of years, I think that was probably one of the most fun viewing experiences I had.
100%.
Robert Forster is just... perfect in that flick.
So much stupid fun. I loved it.
I'm getting a little worn out with all this police station business. I think I might, want to take a trip down to some beautiful white sandy beaches and relax a little bit. So here on Beautiful White Sand Beaches, we are going to be talking about the good stuff, a.k.a. what we liked about this movie. So, Brian, why don't you take it away? Hit me with the first thing that you have on your list that you like about this film.
Oh, my first one's like the biggest heavy hitter, which I know was on the top of yours, was cinematography.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Because the director was music videos before?
Yeah,
is that right?
yeah,
You told me that.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Which makes complete sense. When you see some of those shots, like, there's so many of the, like, silhouette shots of, like, the hill with a character or the pig, whatever, and then the, like, insane oversaturation with the smoke and everything. Like, they just make every scene look so cool when it's panned out correctly. Like, I love it.
There are, and I mean this, like I mentioned before, the cinematography was like a big selling point for me when I saw it mentioned in Search of Darkness.
Oh yeah,
because they show you some of this stuff, and you just look at it and you're just like, oh my god, these are they're paintings. They're not even like shots. These are genius.
I want a poster of the first shot of the pig. Or not
the
first shot,
the silhouette,
the
right?
silhouette where she gets it through the camera.
So cool. It's so creepy. I love that. Anytime I think about Razorback, I think of that shot specifically. It is so foreboding, and you only see it for a split second, but it's probably...
it's that
I think
deep red sky.
Yeah,
the
dude.
Black hill in the corner, little freaking warthog.
It has that Lion King backdrop to it, which is really cool, actually.
Like, oh shit, Pumbaa's gone rogue. Really sets the tone for the
Lion King 2.5.
Was that a thing?
Oh, there was Lion King 1.5.
Oh, yeah. 1.5. Yeah, no, I loved it though. Like, if you have any reservations about watching this movie, watch it specifically for the cinematography.
Yeah.
Because it is just so entertaining nonetheless.
It is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, particularly in the sequence that you mentioned before, where, what's his name is,
I can't think of his name either.
Carl, where Carl is
Best
lost
husband.
in the desert and he's just losing his fucking mind.
Yeah.
It's essentially like a fever dream, and it's just the most beautiful scenes.
Yeah, because the regular scenes where it's like eerie and spooky have their own like crazy saturated color and smoke vibes to them in the panned out situation, and his have like these like Salvador Dali figures and like skeletons coming out of the ground, and like, but he's a part of all of these scenes too. It's not like these like still shots.
These beautiful like wide shots.
Yeah, they're huge, pulled back.
I love the one of just the flares shooting off in the background.
It's amazing.
It almost looks like a war film or something like that.
It's another like amazing silhouette shot of him like trudging over this hill, and flares are just flying past him into the sky. It's just wild.
So the director of photography on this film was a gentleman named Dean Semler. Let me just give you a brief rundown of some of the films that he ran camera for, all right? So get this. We already mentioned it once. The Road Warrior.
Yeah!
Sequel to Mad Max.
See?
A couple years after Razorback, he would go on to do Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome.
My man.
I
love this guy. He's awesome.
He did Young Guns.
Fuck yes! Oh, that makes so much sense.
He did Dances with Wolves. And Dances with Wolves, you can see that direct through line from some of those wide, like, shots, those landscape shots. Which, I mean, then you have, everything that takes place in Dances with Wolves. I mean, that's just all those sweeping shots.
When was the last time you watched Young Guns? That's like one of my favorite westerns.
I watched, and he did Young Guns too, actually, as well.
Young Guns has a lot of those bitchin' silhouette scenes too.
It's been a minute since I watched it.
Holy
shit, dude! He went on
dude's
a tear. He did. So he does Young Guns 2, then he does Dances with Wolves, then he does City Slickers.
Let's go.
He does Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Now say what you will about that.
The newest one?
No. The old 93 one.
Sure.
Which is a garbage film, but if you look at it, like the cinematography looks great.
Checks out.
He did The Last Action Hero, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, which this movie keeps on popping back up in my life, and I've only ever seen it one time, and I'm like, dude, I need to rewatch that movie because it just keeps on popping back up. He did Waterworld again. Say what you will about the movie,
Dude.
but it looks fucking pretty.
I loved that movie.
He does. He does We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. He does Triple X.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Jumps back in with Costner and does The Alamo. Dude, I mean, he does a lot with Adam Sandler too. Here he does Click. He does The Longest Yard. He does I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Jesus.
The other big one that I would say, just beautiful, beautiful filmmaking. This ties back to Mel Gibson and Mad Max. He does Apocalypto.
Oh, damn.
Which is a very, very pretty looking movie. So, yeah, Dean Semler just, and he's won an Oscar. I'm assuming that was for Dances with Wolves, if I had to. Yep.
Nailed it.
Sure was. So, we have an award-winning cinematographer on this movie, which is, in no small part why the
Razorback's on the list, but I'm here for it, dude. He made it look killer.
Dude, it is one
for
of the
whatever
highlights,
you want to say this movie is on a scale of 1 to 10, man, it has some very pretty scenes.
And I mean, I'm sure it was, there was certainly a group effort between him and director Russell Mulcahy, who, again, there is a music video vibe about some of these shots and the way they're kind of put together. So I have no doubt that it was a great collaboration between the two of them to get this film as pretty as it is.
I love it.
So that
That's
was
cool.
one of my first ones too.
Heavy hitter.
One that I have here is, and talked about it briefly already, starting the flick off by killing a child is just fucking savage. Like, just out the gate, you know that anything can happen because they just killed a baby like that.
In the first minute and 20 seconds.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing. You're just like, what? And then, as a parent, there's this beat of when the grandpa's like running out, like screaming the baby's name, and the house is on fire, and he's just distraught, and he just falls to his knees, like screaming the child's name, and then it just cuts to titles, and you're just like, what the shit?
Yeah. So the house just got bulldozed by
I don't
what
think
they say a rhino-sized.
A rhino-sized fucking pig. I think this movie gets up to that level of intensity one more time, briefly, but never quite matches that.
No.
What it starts out with.
Like house leveling, child killing, insanity in the first minute and a half is just like off the rails.
It is a hell of a way to start a picture.
Yeah. God damn.
What else you got for me?
What I liked was that the way they touched into it as like a Jaws reference, where like you only see like little bits of the animal, at least for a while too. Yeah, which is cool. Like even when you do see its full thing, it's like this dark silhouette on a hill, and like you only see it for like a second. Yeah, it's
really in the entire film, you really get a clear look.
And that less is more goes a long ways. I mean, we've seen it where they show too much, and it's like you just get what's the word?
Desensitized.
Yes, you get desensitized to it. It's like it's scary, but it's like I know what it looks like. Yeah. And, like, that's, like, a huge thing with, like, I mean, at least to me in horror movies.
I would say...
The less you see is, like...
I would say that there is one exception to that rule, for sure. And that's the fucking shark in Jaws. The more you see that thing, the more I'm like...
That's true.
No, I want nothing.
But the way they pace it out is why. The more you see it, the more it's like... oh god, like it slowly does that ramp up to increase the fear.
Well, you know why you don't see as much. You don't really see the Razorback in this film much.
Because it
did not work for shit. Yeah. Did not work for shit.
I
think they had even less luck getting this thing to work than they did in Jaws.
Fixed Bruce. Yeah.
Because, like, you can just tell. Yeah. You can tell how much they're shooting around it. You can tell by how much they have to shake the camera to make like a scene look intense and stuff like that.
It's rough. It was like almost makes you nauseous in a few scenes.
Yeah.
Like, God damn. Okay, we get it.
I'm gonna say like it would if they had. Excuse me. If they, and we'll get to this in a moment, but if they had dialed that down a little bit, I think it. You know, granted they're small. Horror film. Definitely not
making it work.
Definitely not having the full backing and budget of Universal Studios like Jaws did.
Yeah, doing the best with what they got. You know.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
But I like that they kind of stayed on that edge for as long as they could.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like I said, you really never get like a totally clear look at it.
No. Mine quick cuts and foreground material that they work around. Yeah. They make it work.
We'll just, this is going to be like our dive on in for this episode. To piggyback on that, my next thing is that the Razorback is pretty terrifying. Like, again, talking about that silhouetted shot where you first get a glimpse at it, that is very, very foreboding, like I said before, and it's just creepy. Yeah. It's just a creepy thing to see, because we've all had something... We've all experienced something like that where you think you saw something or you saw a shadow or something far away. And far away horror is always scarier to me. Right. I don't know what it is.
This is in the desert.
So it's perfect for that. Well, and also just the idea of Jason popping out from behind a curtain. Mm-hmm. That's a jump scare. But to see Jason standing off in the forest just looking at you from far away, that creates dread. That
eerie.
Yes. Yeah.
Very deep-seating. Like being watched and hunted.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's freaky.
So
and they do a good job with it.
That and later on when Beth gets attacked. Mm-hmm. That's a scary scene too. Like that when it pops up at the window there and it's just screeching. Like it's a pretty
have you ever heard
scary
of
monster.
Pig screech? It's horrifying. I've been chased by pigs before. It's terrifying, and they weren't that big. Big enough, and they did not have tusks. But man,
were you threatening to turn them into bacon? Is that why they were chasing you?
No. It's when I helped work with that family on that ranch, and I didn't know they were inside the barn. And they don't the pigs on the property. There were two big ass pigs. Don't like being threatened or like they're being cornered. Yeah. So they get not territorial, but defensive basically. Yeah. And I didn't know they were in there. And I was in there moving a bunch of shit out of the barn. And it happened twice. Both of them were in there. I didn't know either of them were in there in different corners of the building. And I went around the corner with a handful of lumber and shit. And one of them was in there. And I was like, we're cool, right? And they wake up, stand up, and start getting all fired up. Just chill. I'm backing away. And literally just had to drop everything because they're 350 pounds or probably. It's a big pig.
Yeah, and
on
they have
6
teeth.
inches of legs.
They have teeth.
Oh yeah.
They bite.
You can't even see their eyes. They're so over, fat, monstrous looking things. Yeah.
It's terrifying.
And they're fast as shit. Eric told me, he was the funniest thing I've ever seen working on that ranch was hearing you yell and looking at the barn, because I went from the back end of the barn all the way through, and it was a big fucking barn, and he just looks out and sees me full sprint, come out the barn, out into the yard, with the pig right on my fucking heels. And I'm in, like, boots and shit, just beating feet out of this barn, and then jumped over a couple of hay bales to get away from it. And then they do a big loop and slow themselves down, and then go lay down somewhere.
I would have paid so much money. That just sounds like a scene from our show. That's just very much what it sounds like.
You would never think that something that, like, obese looking with such small little legs could move that fast. But once they get up, man,
I was gonna say, once their weight
they're like a bullet.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. Then they start moving, you're like, okay, fuck! It's just like, shit! It's just like, you gotta go! Yeah, and it happened twice that day, because another one was in a different pen, and I went in there, and the same fucking thing happened. Bacon and Mr. Pigglesworth.
Those are their names? Fucked up that
they named him Bacon.
That's really fucked up.
Bacon was the bigger one, too. And
probably the more aggressive one of the two, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't remember. They were both feisty little shit. I hated them, man. You could never see their eyes because they were so, like, wrinkly and fat.
Fuck them pigs!
Yeah. But yeah, getting chased by a pig is no joke. They can move. And those are, like literally made for making bacon pigs. Like, their stomachs are barely off the ground. They're not like the hogs in this movie where they're like, you know, like warthogs can move. Yeah, these are like bacon pigs, and they still haul ass. Like, it's terrifying. Yeah, and the sounds they make, dude.
I don't know.
Nightmare fuel.
The video I did for my review for Evil Dead Rise, where like I have the hand calling the sound effects that I used for the hand was pig screeches.
Of course, yeah, checks out. Dude, it's a terrifying sound.
I would never want to experience it up close.
Yeah, and like the scene you were talking about when it shows up at the door to her car and it's just like screeching. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's creepy. Yeah. The Outback isn't scary enough, but, like, at night, or, like, the fact that, like, you can't see this giant warthog, like, hunting you down, like, it's, like, pretty flat, but...
That motherfucker destroys that car, too, so yeah.
Ooh, yeah!
Fucking, the Razorback is scary.
Yep.
Hit me with another goodie.
My other one was the characters, and that's pretty broad, but, like, the people you hate them for a good reason, like, they're creepy and, like, gross, and, like, they're, like, it's not even just the characters, like, where they live, what they do, how they act in literally every scene they're in, like, in no matter what setting, and, like, it's mostly about the brothers, the Baker brothers.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even still...
I loved to hate them because they're the way they do everything in every single scene, whether it's in the car, they're horrible, whatever they're doing in the car. Whether they're in the bar, they're horrible, like, they're just breaking glasses and just... They stick to that, like, slimy, gross scheme, no matter whatever scene they're in. Like, it's like...
I bet you they had so much fun playing those roles.
Right? Can you imagine?
Yeah, that would have been so much fun.
They just slap you in this dirty, gross 80s attire, and they're just like, have at it. And they do. They leaned right into it. I mean, they did a great job, because they're like, you know, if you hate a villain in a movie, it's because they're doing a good job. So, but, yeah, I put it in my good list, and I was just like, damn. Like, I loved to hate them. Yeah. Because they did so well. Like, they knocked it out of the park as far as, like, just leaves you feeling gross.
I mean, I agree. That is one of those things, every time I think about this movie, I'm just like, God, those guys are gross. Yeah. Where they live is gross. Scene. Yeah. Where they work is gross. Just the environment of just dead, rotting meat all over their plant, and it doesn't even look like it's well kept at all. There's rats everywhere.
The cave.
Yeah, the
cave. Car.
Yeah, it's just
the way they dress, the way they talk. It's just nasty. Nasty. But I put it in my likes, and I was just like, damn, they did a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, they
like, portraying, like, some bad guys in here, like, some gross bad guys. I'm like, you can't argue with it too much.
I'm sure they're like the nicest guys in real life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, what else do you have?
I got one more, and that's not to say that there isn't a whole bunch of good stuff on this list, but I mean, I feel like between the two of us has covered a lot of it. I really like that they pull a psycho on us and kill who we think is our lead very early on.
Yes.
The Beth Winters sequence, where you very much think that this is who we are going to follow for the entire film, and she's going to be the hero, and she just gets fucking murdered by that pig, man. Just destroyed. And her scene's rough because she's a fairly likable gal. Like, they do a good job of making her someone that you could see yourself rooting for. And she only has like fucking 15 to 20 minutes of screen time.
It's not a lie. Don't give her a lot. It's like just enough to build it.
Just enough. Think, yeah, okay. Exactly. That
she's gonna start running with this.
And then Dicko tries to rape her and then gets scared off. And then she thinks she's safe. Also. And just when she thinks she's safe, after being run off the road and beaten by the brothers and then almost raped, she's definitely sexually assaulted, you know, 100%. Like, and then she thinks she's safe, and then there's this fucking pig standing outside her window, and she even has this moment. It's a weird cut, and I'm not sure it works, because you see the pig screeching, and she just kind of sits there, and there's no music, and it's silent. Like, had they edited it a little bit better, I like what they're going for, that she's, like, in shock, and she's not, she can't process what she's seeing, but it is just like a hard edit that doesn't quite flow right, because the pig's outside like screeching, and then it just cuts to her and it's quiet and she's just staring. So it just kind of kills the suspense a little bit, but she is in pure shock and doesn't understand what's going on, that there's this giant monster out there, because she just survived these very much real life monsters. Yeah. And now there's this giant...
And this thing just showed up.
Yeah. Creature in front of her, and then she just dies a horrible death. Is eaten by this pig. Yeah. Like,
insane.
Totally savage. Totally brutal.
The only thing left is like her shredded car.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely annihilated. In the movie, I mean, that is far and away the most intense scene in the movie, I would say. Yeah. But it is very much a gut punch, and I like it as far as it being, in terms of a horror film. Right. This scene is the highlight of the film for me, for sure.
And it's crazy because, like you said, where you think, okay, we know who our star is going to be, and she, like, in an attack, like, turns to the passenger door where she's like, could escape, and you're like, is she going to? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Is this thing just gonna wreck her? Because those guys took off. And it's like, nope. Yep. Yeah, that was it. Just annihilation. If anything, she tries to go out the windshield.
Yeah, she does. Well, the Pet Pack truck was ramming into her on that side. An argument could be made. I don't know if that's what it was.
Smashed.
I mean, you could make that argument.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She had no escape for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even if she got out on foot, like, that thing's gonna get her. So
yeah, like they said, it's like a rhino-sized boar. Yeah, basically is what they keep comparing it to, or compared it to at the beginning, or something. Yeah. That's what, like, Jake compared it to in the court or whatever, I can't remember. But yeah, nuts. So, and it was a very slim chance of survival, and then it's just like, okay, now what? What the fuck? It would have been like, what, 30, maybe 45 minutes in the movie, if that?
Yeah,
if that.
Dude. Like, it's not a long time. Maybe 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's just a great pull the rug out from underneath the audience moment for sure.
No, it was awesome. I'm glad that was in your likes.
Do you have anything else for me?
No, that was the last of mine. I think we covered the most of it.
Cool. Yeah, I think that really does do it. Little Alex Kittner's just been absolutely obliterated by a great white shark. I don't think I want to be on this beach anymore. But unfortunately, I'm being called away to another tragic accident that happened over on Ben Gardner's boat. And here we are, Ben Gardner's boat, aka the shit, aka what we didn't like about this movie. So I'll go ahead and take point on this one. There are some weird pacing issues in this film for me. It is a 95-minute film. It's an hour and 35 minutes, and I'm sure, at least 2 to 3 minutes of that is in credits stuff, right? So, this is a 90-minute picture, and it feels like it's 2 hours.
Yep.
And I like this movie, but it does drag at points.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
And you do have those weird dream sequences, but you also have just like the weird stuff with Carl at Pet Pack and them just talking and bullshitting.
Right.
And it's just weird. And then you have some of the, some of the sequences with Jake like crawling around after he's lost his legs.
Yeah, totally.
It feels like those scenes should be a little bit more intense than they are.
Right. Just pacing wise.
Yeah, there is just like, I don't know if it needed to be sped up or just have things repackaged in a certain way, but there's pacing issues, and I just can't figure out exactly where or what they are, but I know it doesn't move as good as it should.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of scenes, like you were saying, where they're like at Pet Pack and they're talking and shit. I'm like, okay, like some of this is moving the storyline, but a lot of this just seems like we're kind of filling weird gaps that don't need to be filled. Like we could kind of either condense or figure out a way to rewrite it a little bit and keep it moving.
Yeah, and I mean...
feels very stagnant, like it plateaus a couple times.
Yeah, and I mean, that even goes to, like, some of the action scenes, too. Like, they don't feel as intense as they could.
The pacing's just off.
And, I mean, there's just weird editing things, and that could be, like, just, like, a country sort of thing. Like, maybe they just... the way they edit over in Australia could just be a little bit more patient with certain things.
Especially during the 80s and whatnot.
Yeah. And I mean, again, so much of this film does feel like an art house picture at times. That might have been more what they're leaning towards. Right. But, I don't know, man. Just like, I think about some of those action sequences, and if they had done what they did with Jaws, where they used the camera as... like, the Razorback's point of view.
Right.
Because I don't know if they do that at all in this.
They do a couple times.
It just never, like, feels like as intense as it could. Because, like, you could speed it up. You could make that camera move really fast. Like, have guys running with the camera and chasing someone. You add the intensity to that, right?
Exactly. Because I put that in a different section. I wrote it down somewhere where it's a like of some sort. I can't remember why I put it in there. But it was a touch on it, like, when they're, like, about to, like, rape Beth, basically, in that scene. And they get scared off because it's like a point of view shot from it, and it snorts into the dirt.
Yeah,
and you can see it, and it's pointed at the truck.
I do remember that.
You can see it, and they see it, and look. Dope. And I'm like, oh, so cool. But they don't use it nearly as much as they could have.
Yeah,
like that's like a big, like missing Jaws impact that they could have used. Like you said,
absolutely.
Like, they could have used that like air puff.
Yeah, dude,
snorting
they could have done that a couple of times.
Galloping or something, just like
think about that scene with
can you imagine?
With Jake like crawling on the ground, trying to get to the barn or whatever, and having the
coming
thing
down the hill.
From that point of view, that would have been so cool. It
would have been terrifying.
And then if you make it to where he doesn't make it to the barn, and it just gets him, and you see like the point of view of him being attacked.
Right.
How much cooler is his death?
His kill scene was so sad. Sad in the way of
we might as well, like, I don't want to step on your toes. We'll get to some of your dislikes here, but since we're talking about it, that is a big thing I have in my negatives is that
I didn't even write it down. I should have though.
We don't see Jake get killed. He dies off screen.
Weak.
And the way that the camera like zooms in on his like horrified face, it's no good.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have
they take him like he's been there for days and dehydrated.
Yeah.
It's like
dude, you
give him a hero's death. Come on, man. Like, he's been fighting for this for so long.
Yeah, or even you just like, because we don't really see anybody killed by this thing. Like,
Not really.
We see like Beth get pulled away from it, but we don't see her get eaten.
No.
You know?
That
would have been that would have been a really good opportunity to like show some blood and gore and have this like be this really intense like
blood gore with a mix of the first person from the board would have been sick. Like him fighting it off from first person and the switch would have been cool. Dude. Something
that would have been really cool.
Find a tool in the shed. Like give him a chance. It's just such like a bitch way to go out.
Yeah, let him go out fighting. Or I mean, if you don't want him to go out fighting, at least just show us like his feudal human strength against the overpowering strength of the boar. Yeah. Like, you know, like show that to us. Yeah. Because as an audience member, I feel cheated in that because they're building up to the two of them going at it or him killing it or something.
Like a quint battle. Like
exactly.
Man versus fish, man versus boar. Like give us something like last ditch effort. Like he knows he's gonna lose, but he's still going down swinging. Like
exactly.
It's just, and correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it just smash cuts to Carl's view of just like the tattered shed. And that's it. It's just like that's where he was. So he's dead now. It's just like. What the fuck? Come on. Yeah. Give us a little heroism in here. Like,
Boo.
Yeah. For the guy who's been trying to clear his name and kill and hunt this thing for God knows how long. Like, come on. Yeah. Yeah, it's weak.
Not a fan of that. That's probably like my biggest no on this
that was a bummer, to say the least.
What do you got for me?
Let's see. I put in I put in parentheses that I actually liked it, but the 80s, like, clothing that they really pushed for the brothers, I was like, man, at first I hated it, and then I liked it, then I hated it. I just kept going back and forth because it suits them so well as, like, creepy, but it's just such, like, a weird place for it.
It just feels like, it feels impractical, right?
No one else is in it. That's the problem. Like, the whole bar scene, obviously they stick out because they're, like, the creepy brothers. But they're the only ones in, like, the pointed, blue-collared fucking suit jacket and shit. Like, which, again, hits their character. Like, they're out in the fucking boonies, literally, living in a cave.
Yeah, I just feel like, I agree with you, like...
I don't know, it was just like...
To a degree, it does make sense for their characters, but also, like, everything else in the movie, it doesn't add up. They should just be, like, in rags and, like, shitty clothes that don't...
They're right on the edge of, like, 80s fashion, Mad Max, like, tatteredness. And it's a fine line. They tread it pretty well, but...
I'm sure there's no way in hell that Mad Max was not an inspiration, particularly on those characters. Yeah, like, there's no way in hell.
Like, Benny's got, like, the sunglasses with, like, one mirrored lens as, like, an eye patch and shit. Like, it's very steampunk leaned into, with an 80s blue-collared twist. I don't know. Yeah. It bugged me at first, and then I kind of leaned into it because their characters just make it work. Because they're just... gross.
Buddy, you just summed up 80s horror in a nutshell. It's one of those things where, like, I'm sitting there and I'm watching shit, I'm like, this is stupid, it's dumb. By the end of it, I'm like, I don't know. And I go back and rewatch it in a year, I'm like, hey, that's the thing! That's
damn fucking cool. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it does.
And that's what I kept doing. The whole movie. Every time I saw him in a different outfit, I'm just like, it's fucking stupid, but God, I love it though. And I'm like, Damn it,
dude! Like, just like that's garbage day right there.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing where you're like, what the fuck is this? And then, on the third or fourth viewing, you're like, here it comes. This is the best part.
Yeah.
Everyone, shut up.
The best part. Yeah, exactly. It really just walks that wide gray line.
But I agree with you. It is one of those things. You're just like, it is. Again, I think about those characters, and I just for some reason, I just see orange and yellow when I think about them because they're weird, flamboyant.
Right. Yeah, it's very flamboyant.
Colors that they're always sporting, but again, it's one of those odd things that you're like, I can't quite put my finger on how I feel about it.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't hate it. I'm just not quite okay with it. But it works. Whatever. It's part of the movie. The only other one I had, which kind of go hand in hand, was like overly shaky camera, mixed because we talked about it in that last scene and a couple of last scenes, and the music. Yeah, I'm sure you had it down.
I had it on there.
Yeah, it was hard, man. It's hard to get into it.
I think there are, and this is I almost didn't put it because there are moments where I think the music is actually really good.
Yeah.
I do think the score itself, by itself, is actually really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Its use in the movie is very inconsistent.
Yeah. And
there are parts where it absolutely does not suit what is happening on the film. We even talked about it, particularly the climax of the film.
Yeah.
It's just like this boom,
right.
boom. And the thing is trying to eat Carl, and it's just boom,
right.
boom.
And the cameraman's
and the shaking, and you're like,
get the fuck out of it.
None of these things. There should be a level of intensity to the music.
Matches.
Yes, and it's not there.
Everything should be in the red, or nothing should be in the red.
Yes,
and it's like 2 of 3 things is in the red, and if the other one isn't, which is the music, it was just very disorienting.
Yes.
Yeah, it was funky, and you brought it up, and I was like, damn, it is weird. You're right, like. This just doesn't match up. Like, it seems like it's on the wrong scene almost.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what happened with that. And like I said, there are other points where the music fits very well. Like, when it's Carl on the bus coming to, coming to find out about Beth and everything, and he's having the flashbacks.
Yep.
And all that, like, the music there and how it is used there.
Right.
Perfect.
Yep.
Great. But yeah, it is a very inconsistent score to say the least.
Yep. That was rough. That was hard.
Yeah, and I think my last thing is just the death of the Razorback is somewhat underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree.
The idea of like Carl taunting it on the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you can come kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Like, that whole bit, I'm like, dude, this thing murdered your wife. Yeah. I would not be playing cute with it. I would be like hitting it in the head and shit like that if I wanted to get it on this conveyor belt. And then it just kind of sits on the conveyor belt and then doesn't try and get him or anything like that. Just kind of sits and waits to fall.
Smash cut to him jumping out of the way onto like the harness thing out of the way, and then all of a sudden it smash cuts back and it's already like up to his neck getting chopped up.
And we never really get a close up of it or anything like that.
No, there's no there's no. I don't know. I can't think of the right way to say it, but. There's no, closure to it of, that's the scene, it's dying. It
feels very, disconnected. I don't feel attached to the scene. It feels very arm's length.
Yes.
Where you see something like Jaws and how smart Spielberg is with how he choreographs this scene of Brody here and the shark here, and it's getting closer, closing that gap, and us as the audience, cutting back, going, the shark's here, there's the tank, there's a shark, and he's shooting, and he's almost getting it, and the shark's getting closer, and you're just like, this is it, he has one last shot, And I never feel that with Carl on the conveyor belt, because we never get close-ups of the pig's face looking at Carl, trying to get him. It's just sitting and they're both just kind of going.
And it's been that first-person view of it, like, moving
like
or
getting
crying or something.
Dude, even if it had, like, a first-person view of the camera, like, going into the fans or something like that as it goes down.
That constant, where they keep re-looping that stagnant view of, like, the fan spinning, but it's this, like, stable view.
Yeah.
There's no zoom in, there's nothing to it to, like, give you any action that... I mean, from the minute it gets on, like, what? I'll guesstimate, a 20-foot conveyor belt.
Yeah.
It's just, it gets on, and then he's off, and it's in the belt. It's in the
there's
blender.
not
That's
a lot of drama
yeah.
and suspense that happens in that bit right there.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a hard ending.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, movie's over.
Yep.
Tight.
Tight.
Okay. Like, there's no, like, oh, he did it. He beat it. Like, there's
I was worried, you know?
Yeah, no, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, even that whole climax is a little rough for me. There's parts where, like, Carl's, like, running away from the pig because the pig's, like, apparently chasing him.
Right.
And you see the pig, and the camera's as the pig's moving, and then it cuts back to Carl, and he's just kind of moving, but you don't hear any noise.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, of anything being moved around, like anything coming toward him.
Nope.
And it cuts back, and then it goes back to him, and he's just kind of like climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
And then the pig, and then he's on top of the railing, and the pig's just sitting there looking down, which is a cool shot, admittedly. But you're like,
yeah, you finally get a little bit.
Where's the suspense?
There's no
where's
action. There's no drama.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
so
no intensity. Disconnected.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's a very hard sell for an ending, for like what should be. I mean, like we said, like Beth's death is like intense. Like there's an action to it at least, even if the beginning was rough. Like, and the cuts are rough. Like, and the cuts are rough the whole time, but at least there's some action to it.
Yes.
Like there's some motion happening. This one's just it's like they filmed it on a tripod, and it was just yeah.
It's almost like they added the shake-in afterwards. I used to use this back in the day. I was editing a movie on I think it was Final Cut, and they had a shaky effect that you can add to the thing to make something like look more intense. And I was doing it to this fight scene, and to this day, like, I think the fight scene was okay-ish, but I felt compelled to put that shakiness into it, which means that the fight scene probably wasn't that good if I didn't even put that shakiness into it, you know?
That's fair.
And that's what I think of every time I watch that. I think of like, oh, we needed to make this more intense because it wasn't intense enough.
Yeah. It's not selling through, you know?
That's just not ideal, so.
Yep.
Well, I think that about does it here. We're going to go ahead and tow this boat in. And I'm a little bit hungry after all of this bringing in Ben Gardner's boat. So we're going to go have dinner over at the Brody's.
How was your day? Swell.
So here we are, having, what was, I don't know, maybe what nice steelhead trout, looks like, that Ellen probably got at the market. It's pretty alright. I wasn't that hungry, but now I look over to my right, and I got a little kid miming everything I do. So, with that in mind, we are going to discuss a little bit about Razorback and what inspirations it takes from the film Jaws, which, as we know, is why we are here to begin with. So, Brian, you got, just off the top of your head, some stuff that you noticed that's just like, yes, that is specifically a Jaws-ism.
Yeah, I only had a couple, honestly. I mean, aside from, the theme and movie itself just being on land, but what we had talked about of the less is more definitely was something that stood out to me. Like, you know, they're not showing so much of the animal, which I thought was cool because you can just go right off the rails with it. If you show too much, you know, you get desensitized to it. It loses that kind of horror feel if you're going for the Jaws aspect. And I feel like they stayed true to that for the most part, plus with what they had to work with. Yes. It might not have been on purpose. Maybe it was. It seemed like it was. And I leaned into that. I thought it was cool. And there were a couple scenes, honestly not that many, in which we also just talked about, with like the first person like snort into the dirt, first person scene from the boar or the warthog, whatever, of like it attacking, which I thought was really cool. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. I like that as like you're seeing it from its point of view. Gives a lot of depth, but that was really it. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it as far as inspiration goes, but those were the two big ones I thought of.
Yeah, I mean, I have a good number of things. I mean, right out the gate, when they decided that they wanted to make this movie, like when the producer was planning it, like he said, "I want to make Jaws on trotters."
There you go.
What this movie is fondly referred to as. We'll say that. So they went in with the intent of ripping off Jaws. Yeah. So there's that right out the gate. Yep. You know, this is based off of a book, so cool. You know, there is that aspect to it. But if you look at the film that we are discussing, there are some big things. You do have the death of a child. Right. You do have a horrific death of a young woman at nighttime at the hands of the beast.
True that.
If you take the scene, for example, where Carl meets Jake for the first time, and Jake brings him into his little hut. Yes. And has all the dead Razorbacks and has the display. That's Quint's shack.
100%.
And with that in mind, obviously, Jake is Quint's counterpart. Carl is the everyman thrust into an extraordinary situation, as is Brody. And then you have Sarah, who is the like low key, unassuming, and she's probably the biggest offender because you're like, we don't need this character whatsoever to tell this story.
Comes in so late.
She comes in, halfway through the movie as this. I mean, great introduction. You know, just a babe, 100%, very very pretty. And my understanding is she very much did not want to do that nude scene, but then they kind of tricked her into it. They're like, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get so and so to do the nude scene. You don't have to do it." And then she was like, "No, I'll do it."
Oh God,
sort of a deal, but you know, the '80s were a different time. What are you gonna do?
Clearly.
You know, her character, just as the scientist doing science. Yeah. I got a tracker on it, and it's right here. And you just look at the screen, and it's just a black screen with a dot. You're like, how the fuck are you supposed to know where here is? So, yeah, like, her character as the Hooper stand-in is just probably the biggest, like, alright. Yeah. Fuck.
Sure.
I guess we're doing this then.
Fill the role.
But you definitely have those three that are just those archetypes. Yeah. For sure. Obviously, the hunter becomes the hunted. Yep. Just like Quint.
Absolutely.
And then, we do have some sort of big, extravagant way to kill the monster. So, yeah, I mean, it very much just feels like it's ripping off shit left and right. I will give it this. The Pet Pack and the Baker Brothers are 100% like original and feel very fresh and part of this specific like world for sure. Yeah, so
that's true.
I gotta give him credit where credit is due.
There's some originality in there. 100%.
Well, nice and full, man. I think it might be time to go take a little power nap.
That's right.
After all that steelhead trout and mimicking. Guys, that's going to wrap up this particular episode on Razorback. We will be doing 2 more episodes. We're going to be talking about some behind-the-scenes stuff. We are going to see what we can dredge up on the book and see if there are any... see if it stays true to the source material or if it veers off in other directions. And then eventually we have some awards to hand out and our final thoughts on our rankings. So please stick with us. Tune back in to the Jony Jawscast because we're having a lot of fun jumping around on Amity Island. Something tells me that our adventures will take us out to sea at some point. So I am your host, Johnny Horror, with me, my buddy Brian Calvert, and we are the Jony Jawscast.
Yeah, baby.
So for now, farewell and adieu, and we will see you motherfuckers on the flip side. Adios, muchachos.
I have to pee so bad.